Alagang AMOSUP, Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines. Ang programang para sa mga Filipino seafarers at kanilang pamilya. Maghahatid ng impormasyon, magbibigay ng inspirasyon, at tatalakay sa kanilang mga sitwasyon, kalagayan at iba pang mga pangangailangan. Alagang AMOSUP. Kasama si Camille Simbulan dito sa Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Magandang araw po sa ating mga tagapakinig at welcome to Alagang AMOSUP, ang serbisyo publiko sa radyong hatid ng Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines o AMOSUP at ng Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Sa programang ito ay pinag-uusapan natin ang mga iba't ibang programa at welfare services ng AMOSUP para sa mga miyembro at dependents ng ating unyon at tinatalakay din natin ang mga napapanahong issue tungkol sa mga karapatan at kapakanan ng mga magigiting nating Filipino seafarers or sea-based OFWs. A big shout out to all of the members and dependents of AMOSUP at sa lahat po ng mga Pilipinong mandaragat sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo na nakatutok sa atin ngayon. So last week ay kasama natin dito sa show ang presidente ng Maritime Academy of Asia and the Pacific o MAAP na si Vice Admiral Ed Santos at ang alumna na si Chief Engineer Elijah Chomi. At ipinaliwanag nila sa atin yung mga education and training programs ng MAAP. Natutunan din natin kung paano maging scholar ng MAAP at syempre ang iba't iba pang mga programa, mga facilities at mga initiatives ng MAAP para sa mga aspiring Filipino seafarers. So, ngayong araw naman ay tatalakayin natin ang isa sa mga pinakamalaking partner ng AMOSUP, ang International Transport Workers Federation o ang ITF.
Alagang AMOSUP, dito sa Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Okay, so ngayon ay kasama natin ang ITF Manila Inspector na si Chief Engineer Arvin Peralta at ang ITF Asia Pacific Regional Coordinator na si Miss Cindy Koch. Welcome to Alagang AMOSUP, Chief Engineer Arvin and Miss Cindy.
Magandang araw po sa lahat.
Okay, greetings to our viewers and listeners.
Hi, good afternoon everyone.
Okay, so we all know that the AMOSUP is an affiliate of the International Transport Workers Federation. So just a quick background so that we can inform and educate our viewers about the ITF. Can you tell us more about this federation and how it helps, how it assists all of its affiliates? I understand we have member unions all across the globe. So can you tell us more about the ITF?
Yeah, sure. The International Transport Workers Federation, the ITF, is a federation recognized as the world's leading transport authority. ITF founded in 1896 as the International Federations of Ship, Dockers, and River Workers. 3 years later, the ITF renamed themselves as a current name in 1898 as International Transport Workers Federations because it has expanded to cover and include transport workers in the non-maritime industries. So ITF has actually played a key role in advocating for improving workers' conditions, right? So we are in the industries and we are representing nearly 16.5 million workers strong. Yeah,
workers.
This is our life, our livelihood, and our future. We are taking a stand for ourselves, for each other, for workers everywhere. We have office in London, head office, and we have office in Amman, Brussels, Geneva, Hong Kong, Montreal, Nairobi, New Delhi, Panama City, Singapore, Sydney, and Tokyo. So ITF roles is not only important, we are actually as important as our affiliates. So without our affiliates like AMOSUP, like others, we cannot do our job effectively.
So you represent the transport workers across the globe through the unions,
Right.
which are affiliated with the ITF, like AMOSUP, for instance, in the maritime transport sector. So Chief Engineer Arvin Peralta is a Manila ITF Manila Inspector. So, can you tell us more about your role as an ITF Inspector? Pwede po magtagalog, Chief
Opo.
Engineer, para sa mga viewers natin.
Thank you po. Ang ITF Inspector po, ang pinakatawag po talaga sa amin is ITF Flag of Convenience Campaign Inspectors. Akala nila inspector lang. No? Specific po kami sa Flag of Convenience Campaign ng ITF na last year po is 75 years na yung kampanyang yon. Ano po yung kampanya na yon? Against po kami, ang ITF, sa Flag of Convenience System. Ano po yon? Na yung may-ari ng barko ay nire-register niya yung barko niya sa ibang bansa. Ang problema po kasi doon, bakit hindi mo i-register sa sarili mong bansa yung barko mo? Ang ano po kasi noon is para makatipid ng mga kailangang bayarin, mas mababang standard, at kahit substandard yung vessel mo, minsan nakakapasa pa sa ibang bansa kung saan mo ipaparehistro. Ang problema po noon sa ITF, na concern kami sa workers, yung mga barko po minsan na yon ay hindi na maganda, substandard, at hindi na maganda sa mga seafarers na sasampa doon. At worse po doon, yung working, living conditions, pagkain, sahod, ay hindi rin po maganda. Kaya na-establish po yung ITF Inspectorate para masolusyonan yon. I-inspectin po namin yung mga barko na classified as flag of convenience at i-convince po namin yung may-ari ng barko na i-unionize o i-cover ng collective bargaining agreement yung barko sa isang ITF-affiliated union na kapareho ng nationality nung may-ari ng barko. For example po, Japanese-owned, ipupush po namin na ma-register sa Japanese Union, yung JSU, o All Japan Seamen's Union. Pero ang problema, ano po yung problema naman po noon? Sino ba naman po ang mga seafarers na sumasampa sa mga Japanese na vessel? Mga Pinoy din po. Kaya minsan may mga makikita po yung collective bargaining agreement sa Japanese na yung JSU, tas may nakatayap na AMOSUP para po yung mga services po ng mga members po ng Japanese Union na yun, na Filipino rin, ay maambunan naman ng services naman na ina-offer po ng AMOSUP. Salamat po.
So, based on your experience, Chief Engineer Peralta, ano yung mga na-actionan mo na conditions na hindi na ayon sa Maritime Labor Convention? Because I understand yung inspection mo, you have a checklist, of course, based off of the Maritime Labor Convention or the MLC 2006. Ito yung Bill of Rights ng mga seafarers, nakalahad dito. Ano ba yung standards dapat ng living and working conditions ng mga seafarers? So, based on your experience, ano yung pinakatumatak sa'yo na monitor mo, talagang nasaksihan mo, na inaksyonan mo bilang ITF Inspector?
Ako'y third year pa lang sa trabaho at during that time, height of pandemic. During the height of the pandemic na-magnify yung mga problem natin sa shipping, pati sa crewing. Lalo yung crew change, shore leave, medical repatriation, o even medical check-up. Pero sa MLC 2006 na binabanggit mo, meron po diyang provision about abandonment. Sa abandonment po, may tatlo pong pamantayan kung paano maklasify ang isang barko na abandon. Isa ay hindi po pinapauwi yung mga seafarers. Pangalawa po, 2 buwan kang hindi napapasahod, classified na po abandon. Pangatlo po, hindi kayo nasusupply ng fuel, pagkain o spare parts. Kahit ano po dun sa tatlong items na yon, classified po kayo as abandon. Nung height po ng pandemic, may barko po dito sa Albay na sumadsad po sila. Ang crew po is halo-halo, Chinese, Myanmar, Indonesian, Filipino. Hindi po sila makauwi. Hindi po makauwi, classified na po sa abandon. Wala po silang pasahod ng 7 months.
7 months.
Tapos ang fuel, wala na silang fuel. Pinapatakbo ng emergency generator nila kada 7 PM ng gabi hanggang 5 AM ng umaga. Tapos ang pagkain na lang nila 2 times a day. Na nandun na po, all of the above na po yung situation na yon, at multi nationality pa yung concern. Ang problema po nun, pandemic. May tinatawag po tayo ng pandemic na pwede ka lang makapag-crew change sa crew change hub. Ang problema po sa Albay, hindi po siya classified as crew change hub. na may ganun pa yung factor. May pandemic, may travel restriction, hindi pa crew change hub. Kaya yung seafarers doon na naipit nandoon sa situation na hindi makauwi. Ang hirap pa nun, hindi mo rin pwedeng tanggalin yung mga seafarers doon agad-agad kasi sinong papalit?
Right.
Kasi nga, ang Albay po is highway ng mga bagyo. Pag wala kang tao doon, sino mag-monitor, sino mag-check? Pag nag-drifting yung barko na yun, bumangga sa pantalan, bumangga sa ibang barko, o lumubog, more problem na naman sa pantalan, sa environment. Kaya, ayun po, parang stalemate. And eventually po, dahan-dahan pong nagtulong-tulungan yung mga government agencies and different governments para mapauwi, masolusyonan, at nakaalis naman po yung barko.
Okay, so ito po yung mga klase ng mga na-encounter niyo po ng mga problema, and yung mga na-encounter na challenges ng ating mga seafarers on board. Kayo naman, Miss Cindy, so what are the unique experiences of transport workers, particularly seafarers in the Asia Pacific region? Because you've been doing a lot of advocacy works for transport workers in Asia Pacific. So what are the unique experiences of Asian transport workers, particularly in the seafaring profession?
So in the APEC region, I would say that, okay, let's put the bigger pictures in the transport workers first before we touch on seafarers. So in Asia, it's a very different regions where there are many peoples went into the transport industries with no choice because they need a living and they just need to work, or rather they feel themselves have less educations in the way, so they actually ended up to be in the transport sectors in the way, in generally in many parts. But obviously when we're talking about subsectors, we know that workers in the aviations probably is a different one, because the air stewardess, the pilots, they are highly educated and things like that. So in fact the distance is actually quite wide in the way. So if we are talking about seafarers, it's very different, because when I start talking to some senior seafarers who start sailing 30 years ago, and they told me at the point of time, seafarers is the highest income job, so they have to take it. So by sailing to one place like Singapore to Canada, it will make them earn $7,000. So these are the unique experience is that even though it is the same in the transport work, but you can see how different it is. People go driving a taxi because they just need a living, but people go for pilots because for dreams. People doing seafaring job because high income. So this is a very unique conditions in Asia Pacific. Probably in the seafarings, our dear friends Alvin might have probably more insights about it.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna ask him, because you used to be a seafarer, chief engineer, an actively sailing seafarer. So can you tell us about your experience before you joined the ITF? Gaano katagal ka naging seafarer bago ka nag-decide na mag-shore-based na profession?
I think I sailed for 15 years, and I was a chief engineer for 2.5 years sea service. I've sailed with LPG chemical tankers na may specialized vessels pa yung mga sinasampa namin. As a seafarer, there are many challenges. You're exposed to the environment and national and international laws that we need to comply. At ang na-mention kanina, bakit mataas yung sahod ng seafarers? Dahil ba yung sa mga negative notions na mga pero hindi. Kaya kami sinasahod na mas mataas dahil we operate millions of dollars machinery, ship and equipment, and worth millions of dollars of cargo that needs really skills and knowledge to operate this intricate machineries and powerful vessels, na kaya po ganun po yung, and plus yung sa risk at sacrifice na isang seafarer going through this environment. Kaya may ganun pong pero nga yun po yung sacrifice naman po. Normally po ang mga seafarers 6 to 9 months away from their families. Tapos ang problem po sa amin is contractual lang kami. Pagbaba mo ng barko, there's again uncertainty kailan kami uli makasampa. Kaya may ganun pang concern. Kaya kung hindi ikaw ay seafarer na hindi maayos ang pag-management mo ng finances mo o napunta ka sa hindi maganda yung maging rotation ng company mo sa next employment mo, ayun yung maging worry mo naman sa next time. Kaya ganun po, maraming components but still young Filipino seafarers, young Filipinos will still try to choose a career on seafaring. Thank you po.
Yeah, of course, we know that the Philippines is still the top seafaring country in the world. About 30%, tama ba, Arvin? 30% of the Filipinos in the world, 30% of seafarers in the world are Filipinos. And of course, tama yung sinabi mo na kaya ganun din yung level ng sahod ng mga seafarers dahil 90% of the world's cargoes, of the world's essential goods are transported via shipping. That's 90%. It's sa buong supply chain na malaking contribution yung binibigay ng maritime industry. So, Ms. Indico, can you tell us more about your current initiatives in the ITF? I know that you're busy. You've been in and out of the Philippines for like several months now.
Yeah, I've been traveling to Philippines every month.
Yeah. So can you tell us more about your current initiatives?
Definitely. So for ITF, like we say, we actually cover all transport workers, not only seafarers. So we are very much focused on hoping to help our workers to achieve an equal working environment. And not only that, we wanted to make stakeholders accountable, to share the responsibilities as well. And we wanted to create a good future for the transport workers. All right. So whether you are working in the air, floating on the sea, or even on the land, we're hoping that we'll be able to create a good future by protecting your rights in the way. And definitely we want all transport workers to work in a very safety environments. This is what we are fighting for, and to make the transport industry sustainable. So this is definitely our focus right now. But having said that, what will be able to build a future for the transport industries? The young workers and the women who come into the industries. So in the past centuries, we hardly hear about women in the transport industries.
Right.
But now more and more women in industries. And in order to sustain the industries, we need young workers. This is something that we cannot deny. So we are actually focusing in building young and women leadership in order to sustain the industries. Obviously, we are also trying to combat the violence and harassments in the industries, because if we wanted to sustain, we have to make sure that it's a safe place to work. Otherwise, we will not be able to achieve it. So therefore, this is currently our focus, or I must say, is the focus in the Southeast Asia work right now. So this is exactly important. But hoping to say that all industries, not only transport industries, safety comes first. We have zero tolerance on violence and harassments.
And harassment and bullying, I think, is one of the issues that's constantly being addressed by the ITF, ITF Inspector, Chief Engineer.
Opo, dahil di po maiwasan yan, lalo sa barko is ang hierarchy system natin is parang military type pa, at harassment, bullying nang happen pag may power play na nangyayari, at nag-cross ng bounds yung superior sa isang situation. Kaya kami po sa ITF, aside po sa mga initiative ni Cindy, aside din sa work namin sa inspectorate, in-initiate na namin mag-reconnect sa mga government agencies, sa mga private sectors, at other welfare organizations, to find out more about ITF, the inspectors, our services, the union, about tripartism, for them to know that we are important stakeholders and try to collaborate and partner with us for the betterment of the workforce.
So, Cindy, is it part of your initiatives to conduct gender sensitivity trainings? Initiatives that teach or educate transport workers about inclusivity, diversity.
Yeah, definitely. So we are I think in the next few years, we will also be very focusing, since not just educating the workers, but the employer as well. Yeah, the stakeholders, I must say. Yeah, everybody has to come together to combat these violence harassment issues. And obviously, one of the initiatives is we are planning, we're hoping to reach out more and more transport workers through institutions. Yeah, because it's just like probably seafarers. Before you leave your cadet school, you should know about your rights. You should know how to create a safe place and how to behave yourself to give your colleagues or your friends a mutual respects environments and things like that. So this is the works that we are currently doing right now, focusing on really to combat the violence and harassment issues.
And we've really been seeing improvement in the transport sector. Like, for example, in the Philippines, I know that based on the data of the Department of Migrant Workers, I think out of the over 500,000 seafarers deployed in 2023, 66% or like 32,000 are women. So we are seeing an increasing number of women in the maritime sector. So is that the same trend all across the region?
Yes, not only for seafarings, definitely in the supply chain as well. And not only that, if you can see platform workers in many countries, you will see delivery, food deliveries, they are all women's. You will see Grab drivers, they are women's. You will probably see DHL drivers, they are women as well. So there are more and more women's, coming into the workforce, and the more we need to protect their livelihood. Yeah.
It's very encouraging.
Yeah.
Because, you won't be like, if you're a woman, you're considering to embark on a journey in the transport sector, you wouldn't be scared to be discriminated because you know that, the ITF is there, AMOSUP is there, trying to
Right.
make, to create a culture of inclusion.
Yes, and I think it is very useful for all women, and I think men as well. When it's come to harassment, no one's fair. Yeah, I think men will get harassed as well. So what happened was that I thought the education program is very important, because at least you know your rights. At least like very simple, when you're taking a bus, when someone touch you, does it consider harassment or does it consider accident? So we have to start educating not only workers but the public as well. And I think we need to congratulate Philippines because of the ratification of C-190. This has actually helped us to in our advocacy work very important. Yeah, because if the government has stepped in and come in as part of the stakeholders, and it's very helpful for us to carry out our initiatives. And definitely we see more and more women are now be able to understand their rights,
Right.
be able to understand. And in the past, I believe harassment has been happening probably during my grandmother's times. But why was it not knowing by people? That's because lacking of education,
Information.
yeah, and information. So this is the reason why we ITF thought that we should step in, first of all, to educate the transport workers first, and the rest of the industries will also do the same things.
Tama. So talagang know your right. Mahalaga para sa mga viewers natin. Para lang po sa impormasyon, yung ILO C-190 po na nabanggit ni Sister Cindy, ayun po ay ang International Labor Organization or ILO Convention 190 on Convention on the Elimination of Violence and Harassment in the World of Work. So tungkol pa rin po siya sa violence, harassment, sexual assault, sexual harassment. Yan po yung mga issue na ini-intend po na i-address nung ILO C-190 or Convention 190. Yes, Chief Engineer.
Just to add also, another initiative from the ITF is also from the that addresses also the concerns of other transport workers is mental health and stress management. Because if it's not controlled or given proper action, it would lead to safety concerns, and it also not good for our workforce. That's why it's also a good campaign, and also targeting the education side. So and we are now trying to partner with the government agencies to properly roll out it effectively and efficiently to and to reach more workers. That's now being in the pipeline.
So, kanina pa natin sinasabi, we've been mentioning since the beginning of the show that, ITF is doing all of these initiatives to assist, to help the transport workers, including, of course, our seafarers. But how can they reach out to ITF? If they require any kind of assistance, pwede po bang ibahagi nyo sa amin yung mga contact details, email address, or contact numbers which they can, pwede po nilang tawagan or i-contact po?
If you're a seafarer or in the maritime industry, I would suggest for you to download the ITF Seafarers app. There you could already be in contact with the ITF Seafarer support, or even the ITF Fishers support network support also for any concern or inquiry that we might be able to give assistance. In the ITF in general, if you're in the land, air, or youth and women, Cindy, how can they contact us in ITF if you're not in the maritime industry?
So basically, we have 14 offices around the world, and our websites will have their email address and obviously the telephone numbers that they can actually reach out. But I actually suggest that each of the workers should report this to their union. That is where our affiliates are. Yeah, so, and our unions, they're experienced enough to be able to manage this in the national level and speak the same language as well. So, like for example, in my office in Singapore, very often that they are seafarers from the Indonesia and seafarers from the Philippines and even from the China will call to the office and seek for help. So we will definitely direct them to the correct country as well. Like for example, the seafarers from Philippines, we will redirect them to the ITF inspectors in Philippines, and if they are from Indonesia, we will redirect them to the Indonesia unions. This is how we work. So we just want to rest assured all the seafarers or even all the transport workers, if you face problems we have about 730 affiliates in the whole wide world.
Wow.
And and we cover about 153 countries, so you will definitely be able to reach out to someone to seek for help.
And I think now we can flash on screen the website of ITF Global. So maybe in the contact section, you can see the email addresses of the different ITF offices across the world and the different departments as well. And ulitin ko lang yung sinabi ni Chief Engineer Arvin Peralta, para sa mga seafarers, meron palang ITF Seafarers app. And dyan, makakakonect na kayo sa mga ITF inspectors. We've had experiences in the past where kung merong problema sa ibang bansa, kuwari nasa Australia, meron dyang ITF inspector. So kung nasa app kayo, you can easily contact any ITF inspector na pinakamalapit kung nasaan yung location ninyo. Yes.
Isa pang pwede mo mag-get na information sa ITF Seafarers app. Sino yung mga inspector na nando sa bansa na yon, sa port na yon, at kung ano yung mga unions sa bansa na yon. And isa pang information na napaka-essential, if yung vessel mo is may CBA coverage ng ITF, at kung meron, kung anong union. Kasi kung ikaw ay member ng union, we would really suggest to contact your union para mas mabilis ma-actionan yung concern mo at mas direct. Thank you.
Okay. Salamat po sa impormasyon na yan. Okay, so we're nearing the end of our show. Any last messages to AMOSUP members, dependents, and transport workers in our region, Miss Cindy?
For me, I always think transport workers is very important. They are the heart of the global economy. Yeah, without them, we don't get our food, we don't get our fuel, we don't get our pretty clothings, we don't even get toys for our family, for our children, and there are a lot of things that we will miss out without seafarers, definitely, and transport workers. And what I wanted to say here is, no transport worker walks alone, no transport workers left behind, and no transport workers will be forgotten. So we are here, ITF, to support you, provide you unwavering support, and our affiliates are here to support you as well. So transport workers, thank you very much for all your support to the global economy.
Chief Engineer?
My statement for seafarers, at least, we go on board to earn a decent living for our family, but in a bigger picture, our job is very essential, is very important for the world to live. During pandemic, it was also highlighted, and we were classified as essential workers, because if not for our good job in still continuing transporting these goods, fuel, commodities, medical supplies, many countries will collapse during the pandemic, and we have an important role. We are a professional workforce, and we should improve ourselves, be abreast with the ever changing changes in the industry, especially with digitalization, decarbonization, automation. We should be ready with it, and in ITF, we have this core values: solidarity, action, strength. Solidarity means we need to be one, we need to be united, but with facing the problems and concerns, we need to take actions, and with that's our strength. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Okay, nakaka-inspire naman yung message niyong dalawa. Thank you very much. Napaka-informative, very informative yung naging discussion natin ngayong araw. Kung meron po kayong katanungan, ay i-email nyo lang po kami sa alagangamosup@gmail.com at sisikapin po naming sagutin ang inyong mga katanungan tungkol sa ITF. So, para naman po sa AMOSUP members at dependents, sinishare po muli namin on screen yung ating AMOSUP Contact Center, contact details, AMOSUP Official Facebook page, AMOSUP Official Facebook group, at AMOSUP Official YouTube channel. Meron din po tayong website, www.amosup.org. So don't forget to like and subscribe to all of our social media channels. Muli, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagsubaybay. Salamat sa mga kasama natin sa Radyo Pilipinas, si Miss Susan Aison, Milo Junella, Jay Arevalo, Erwin Peñano, at Jerome Toledo. Salamat din kay Lara San Juan ng AMOSUP, at syempre sa ating mga special guests ngayong araw, Miss Cindy Koch, ITF Asia Pacific Regional Coordinator, and Chief Engineer Arvin Peralta, ITF Manila Inspector. Ako po si Camille Simbulan, at ito po ang Alagang AMOSUP.
All aboard sa talakayan. Palalimin pa ang inyong kaalaman. Alagang AMOSUP. Dito sa Radyo Pilipinas World Service.